evening, John.
Good evening, Ben. How are you?
Tired, but I'm all right. But I think you're probably more tired than me.
I don't feel too bad at the moment. I've got my second wind.
That's good. John, for those who are uninitiated to the conversation, has been up since 4:30. Isn't that right, John?
Yeah, it's 4:30.
And why have you been up since 4:30, John?
4:30 this morning.
Yes,
I just
yes.
woke up and couldn't get back to sleep.
Oh, that's no good. Good evening, Shalini and Vaughan. Good evening, Spencer. Good evening, everybody on whatever platform you are joining us on. How are we all this evening? I hope we are good. This is John's show to introduce. So, John, kick us off.
Good evening and welcome, one and all, to this episode 94 of Chasing Dissent.
94.
From me, the man in the van, and now hunkering in the bunker, and from Ben on the sunny south coast.
Sunny. That's a word.
Was it sunny today? No.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia. No, it's been odd today, almost like somebody's been engineering the weather. It's been a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of everything, John.
A bit of everything, a bit of this, a bit of that.
A bit of this, a little bit of this, with a little bit of that. Oh God, that fucking song. Now that's stuck in my head.
Dandy.
Just dandy indeed. So, what have you been up to since we last spoke? Since our Jubilee coverage?
Not an awful lot. I have added a couple of items to the list, but I've basically just chilled out this weekend.
Could you give me about 20% more volume, please?
Really?
Let's get the pleasantries out the way with first.
How's that?
That's a bit too loud. Come down a bit more.
Too loud?
Yes, a little.
Sad?
Give me some volume.
Give you some volume, some level.
That'll do. There we go. All
Okay.
good. All leveled. Apologies to the live audience about that. So
I did ask him before we started.
He did, and I said it sounds okay, but I was wrong. Because when he asked me, to be fair, I wasn't looking at the visual levels.
Oh, so you were just pandering to me? Is that what you just dismissing me? Just yeah, so it's fine, old boy. Just keep going.
Yeah, well, we kind of have to do that sometimes, John.
Yeah,
we have to pander to you. We have to. You say you've been adding more items to the list. How long is this fucking list?
No, it's not long because we did half the list on Wednesday. Remember?
Yeah, but that was Wednesday's list.
Yeah, but I'm still there's the things that are on the list are still relevant.
So what you're telling me is what you actually did
was pretty much nothing.
Was pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I put up a podcast. Put Mark's podcast up, and I put your video up from Saturday.
Did you have a chance to catch me and Adam from last night yet?
No.
It was a good show. That was a good show. Me and Adam had a good time. Late night laughs with Adam and Ben. It was a completely off the cuff, out of the blue thing. There was no planning involved. And Jessie also appeared in the chat, and she was drunk.
Was she now?
Yes, she was. She was drunk.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
I know you were hanging yesterday, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I had too much on Friday night.
You had you told me that you drank gin, and I'm imagining that's what did it.
Yeah, on top of the wine and the cocktails, yeah. It was slowly coming back to normality. I can't do this.
You're getting there. You're getting yourself back to sobriety.
Yeah.
Sore Arm says he had a lot of beer last night. Do you know who didn't have a lot of beer last night, John?
You.
Me. This guy right here.
Yeah, there's only 17 items on the list.
Only 17 items on the list?
Yeah.
Oh, where the...
But some of them will go dead quick, you know what it's like. Some of them you'll go, oh, okay. And that's it. Done in a minute, you know.
Well, with that in mind, let's do it. Let's begin the list, shall we? Let's not beat around the bush.
Let's not rush in too quickly, because you know what's been happening this weekend. This weekend at Burnley's.
Oh,
So
so
we did a show on Friday, didn't we?
we did, yeah.
And that was quite well received actually.
I'd say, I'd say so. Yeah, the alternative Jubilee commentary.
Yeah, yeah. So we did that, and that was quite interesting. It was, I mean, we didn't have a clue who we were talking about. We only knew the main players because we're not exactly avid royalists.
No, I didn't know who about 7/8 of them were.
Yeah, yeah. But it was quite interesting.
Just some
And
overpaid,
Boris get dumped
self-important
at-
shits.
Yeah, Boris get dumped on his own at the Guildhall and started quaffing into the G&Ts straight away, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I was kind of hoping he would get so pissed that there would be footage of him dancing topless on tables, but unfortunately not. I guess what happens in the Guildhall stays in the Guildhall.
Yeah, because the feed cut shortly after that, didn't it?
It did. But what I so did you see last night? There was a concert outside Buckingham Palace.
I didn't see it.
So there's a massive concert outside Buckingham Palace, loads of stars, loads of musical acts, and then right at the very end, good old Willy boy, Prince William, came out on stage and started lecturing the world about the dangers of climate change. Okay, and there's
Read the room, read the room.
but still there's me sitting there going, "Oi, arsehole! Just yesterday, you took a fucking Rolls Royce from St. Paul's to the Guildhall. And you want to stand there and lecture us about climate change? It's 4 minutes on a bicycle, you balding prick."
Yeah. He's not balding, he's bald. I mean, let's call it for what it is. Oh, apparently what is that now? It's a sexist term.
Oh, yes, I believe it is a sexist term now to call somebody bald. That's right.
Have you ever heard so much passion all your life?
You've never heard so much pish in all your life as to what's been going on the last sort of 5-6 years when it comes to all this woke bollocks, have you?
I know. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
So did the Queen turn up last night? No.
I think she apparently turned out on the balcony again today. I didn't see it.
Yeah, today, but last night, no.
No.
In the carriage, no.
No, there was a black and white hologram of her in the carriage, wasn't there?
What the fuck? How creepy is that?
And do you know what? People were like cheering and waving at this black and white hologram of the Queen.
Which was waving back. It's a fucking... It's Weekend at Bernie's. Without so much fun.
So we had my grandmother around.
The thing is, look at the royals, right? And generally their faces are tripping them.
Yeah.
Unless they know the camera or somebody's talking to them, or the camera's on them, their faces are generally tripping them. I think she's either well on the way out or she's gone,
Well, we had my grandmother around today, and she is, for some unknown reason, an avid royalist. She loves them, right? I don't. She's 77, so we sort of let her get away with it, right? We're just like, all right, dear. But so this pageant thing was going on today, some sort of parade going along down the Mall and around Buckingham Palace, and my nan's sitting there going, "Oh, isn't this wonderful?" And I just kept going, "She's dead, Nan."
What did she say?
"She's not dead." "She's dead, Nan."
Takes him out, by. She's either dead or close to it, and I mean it's no laughing matter because it is, after all, a human, albeit a cruel, heartless, dispassionate, and money-grabbing human life we're talking about. But again, it is a human life, and it's all to be respected.
And to be fair, I don't actually think she is dead, and I know you and others do, right?
Yeah.
But I think, here's my theory, that she's very close to death, and she is just being pumped full of so many drugs just to get her through this Jubilee.
Yeah.
Is what I think has happened.
You can't. But the thing is, I think you might be right, okay? And generally, one of us is always right.
Yeah.
I think you might be right on this occasion. I will give you that. I don't think she's actually dead yet, right? But it's just going to look so fucking bad if she dies during the Jubilee, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that they basically got her on life support.
Yeah, and if she did die, they definitely wouldn't tell us until the middle of next week.
Well, no, and obviously it would be a bit tasteless, I think, to have a weekend at Bernie situation out on the balcony.
Especially with the kids there.
Exactly.
Although, I don't know, is she a stand-in? Because let's face it, I don't think the kids see her that often, so...
No, the kids
Yeah.
definitely don't see her that often, and not only that, not only that, would they notice a double? Would they?
The young ones probably not really, you know. As long as you kind of replicated the old person smell, you know, you'd be all right. Oh, that's Granny. She smells like pish.
Vaughan says the Queen is real. She cut me up at the traffic lights in Knightbridge this afternoon.
Nah, no way.
Apparently, Vaughan put a video of this in our Telegram group.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out a bit later.
Yeah, we can check it later, but it's probably a deep fake.
But I still go back to my default position of not giving two shiny shites about this family, right? And the reason I don't is because of my libertarian principles and my egalitarian principles and the fact that hereditary monarchies are just yuck. They're just yuck. They're vile. The idea of them, it literally tells you that you will never be as good as these people, and these people are only as good as they are because two other people had sex, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah. And some of the... Did you see some of the displays today? Remember, I drew your attention to one of them.
Driving along in my JCB.
The parade of JCBs. Was it some sort of Ben the Builder tribute?
Who?
Oh, no, it's not Ben the Builder.
I was going to fucking say, don't you dare equate me to that bastard Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder cuts corners.
The Red Arrows were out the other day, weren't they? Giving it the old display thing.
Yes.
Why do they always peel off the Netherlands flag?
You tell me, John. You tell me.
I don't know. They're always doing red, white, and blue, and it's always in the shape of the Netherlands flag. That never mix it up.
No, and I'll actually be seeing the Red Arrows for 4 consecutive days in August.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, they do a display on the seafront here for 4 days every August.
That's going to be a fucking joy.
Well, I tell you what isn't a joy, all of the tourists that come along, John, because then getting to Asda becomes a problem. Come on, son, you're on big screen for everybody. Give them a bit more.
Sorry. That's right. Yeah, okay, right. So yeah, let's get into it then, I suppose.
The list.
The list. Let's start with the list. Okay, on Tuesday passed, Russia's Gazprom, right?
Yeah.
Cut off the gas to Denmark's Ørsted and to Shell Energy of Germany for failing to make payments in rubles. Gazprom had said Gazprom said that the companies had to set up Russian bank accounts and they had to pay in rubles.
Yes.
Russian bank as part of their settlement. They failed to do this, so they cut the gas off. Russia has already cut off the gas to Poland, Bulgaria, Finland, and the Netherlands.
I find it very hard to sympathise with either party in this situation. To be honest with you,
I think it's an absolute stream.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious that they haven't paid in rubles, and I think that it is hilarious that they're demanding payment in rubles. And I guess that's because they've tied or are tying rubles back to the gold standard, right?
Probably, and the fact that they want to keep the money inside Russia.
We would like you to pay us in Russian ruble.
Because they probably want their money back because their money's going up compared to everybody else's, which is going down.
Do you know the proper pronunciation isn't actually ruble? Russian people
really don't care.
They call it rubble. They call them rubbles.
Okay, rubbles.
They call them rubbles. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're doing to Ukraine. Let's rubbleize it.
Oh, I mean, we shouldn't laugh. Is that a laughing matter? I'm not sure it is, but
I will. See, that's how Russia works. I mean,
yeah,
you can't win a war against Russia because all they'll do is they've started in Ukraine and they will just keep grinding away until the place is rubble.
Well, this is it, and when we actually, as we have done, we've done very deep dives into what is going on over there. It's just such a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other situation that it's. I feel like we've exhausted it.
Yeah, well, unless something exciting happens. I mean, Zelensky was on moaning about some church being hit or something and 4 people killed. Well, if it's a fucking war, 4 people's nothing. Let's be honest. You get collateral damage, and 4 people isn't high, even in the grand scheme of things.
But it's still, 4 people that probably shouldn't have died, John.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, okay. But
yeah.
But it's a war, and you expect people to die, and things will happen, But yeah, if he keeps going, so I read some stuff today about him, and the thing is, he seems to be in a bit of a pickle. Does old Zelensky?
What's he in a pickle about this time, John?
Well, the problem is he's thrown his hand in with NATO, right?
Yes.
So he can't afford to diss NATO or sue for peace at the moment, because that's not what NATO want to do, right?
No.
They're itching for a fight. But the Ukrainian army's starting to fucking bail out in droves because they don't really want this fight, and they're not set up for it. They don't have the equipment,
and they can't win it,
and they know they can't win it. Right?
Ultimately, we see the rhetoric and all of the "we stand with Ukraine" and all of that. Yeah, but when you boil down and you take away the rhetoric, take away the propaganda, and actually look at the two sides here, Ukraine can't win in open conflict.
No, and when you've got the red rubbleizer ripping through some of your cities, and the Ukrainian army just giving up and walking off, that's a problem, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, apparently the Azov battalion fucking hate him.
Yeah.
And threatened to kill him.
Well, aren't they the Nazis? They're Nazis. They're
well, they are, and he is Jewish. Let's for what it is. So they threatened to kill their actual sitting democratically elected president. That's the people that you want to stand with.
I mean, I need to see evidence of that, but if it is true, I mean, it's ish.
So he does seem to be in a bit of a pickle. I don't know what he's going to do.
Well, I'll tell you what he's going to... Are there any award ceremonies coming up, John? Are there any award ceremonies coming up?
I don't know, but Soram did say, and I'm going to read Soram verbatim here, okay?
Yep.
Soram says, even fucking Henry Kissinger, of all people, pointed out the reality of a Russian win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unfortunately...
It's a no-brainer.
Well, it is a no-brainer, and like I say, we remove all the propaganda, remove all the rhetoric, and when it comes to just simple, open, honest-to-God's warfare, there's... Ukraine win 11 times out of 10. Ukraine lose 11 times out of 10. Russia win.
Yes, yeah. And we've said this from day one. This should not be a surprise.
Well, no, it's not a surprise. And that's not us saying we support Russia. That's us simply pointing out the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Right. Anyway, moving on. Where we are with the gas situation. So Russia's cut off a fair bit of the gas. What do you make of SAD? There's two versions I've heard. I've heard of sudden adult death syndrome or sudden arrhythmia death syndrome.
So it is sudden adult death syndrome. SAD, sudden infant death syndrome.
Yeah.
Cot death. Has there been a marked rise in SADs, John?
Well, apparently there does appear to be, yes. Yes, there does appear to be. And there's an awful lot of youngish people dying. I mean, I've seen about, 6, 7 this week?
Right.
Sudden, 31-year-old, suddenly, unexpected. you remember I showed you that chart from the police magazine
Yes.
from America, and that was like 4 unexpected deaths, and one was a car crash. But the guy that died in the car crash, you're right.
You know what did it! You know what it is!
The guy that died in the car crash veered off the road, crashed the car, and the passenger was fine. So I'm just wondering if the guy that died in the car crash died before he crashed the car.
You know what did it?
Yeah,
You know.
I think we do. I think we know what did it, mate. Yep.
I mean, I can't be any clearer. I without saying it, which I won't do, but you know. You know that I know that you know.
Yeah.
You know.
And I know that you know that I know, and I know that you know that I know that everybody else that's listening to us knows what it is.
You know what it is.
You know.
And that's all we have to say. Because you know. You definitely know. Do you know, John?
I know.
Are you sure that you know, John?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So apparently, now this isn't allegedly, right? Because we don't have a total confirmation yet, unless you can advise me differently. But apparently, Mr. Zuckerberg told all his staff not to get treated.
Not to get what?
Not to get treated.
No, see, I don't know is the answer to this.
Yeah.
I've heard, but then remember, this is also of the same ilk of, you see all these posts on Twitter, for example, that say everyone from that Liza company were immune from having it, and that's simply not true, right? That's simply not true. And
what company?
Pfizer.
Oh yeah, that company. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so there are many that work for them that allege to have had it. I mean, if you've seen the Project Veritas expose Pfizer videos,
no, I haven't.
But the employee that they have on there, she has had it, despite the fact that she wanted to claim medical religious exemption, I believe, and she wanted to allow others to claim religious exemption. They said no religious exemptions. So she works for them, or did before they sacked her for coming out to Project Veritas over the exposures that she did make. But they were all told to have it. So you see these posts, like I say, that say
that's why I did preface it. Sorry, I did preface it with allegedly.
But this is the problem. You see so much on all sides of this situation, and you just don't know what to make of what is real, what isn't real. It's down to people like us to sift through it and try and weed out.
The problem is it's all coming from. If it's coming out, it's coming out from whistleblowers, and you're not getting the full picture anyway.
Well, this is it, and it's like, for example, there's a video on TikTok. Let's go to the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, yeah? And in fact, there's a Twitter account that claims to have been a juror on that case. And it fucking clearly wasn't. And it's just somebody making shit up. And this is the power of social media, isn't it? Your TIE Fighter video. This is the power of social media.
Absolutely.
And you can never simply believe what you see on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, where we are. And this is what I think hopefully separates us out from other commentators, in so much as we say, please don't believe everything we say. Go and do your own research, fact check, look at all angles.
Yeah. Especially, look at the Will Smith thing.
Yeah.
Where the TikTok video came out saying they were copying an old movie. That wasn't an old movie. It was a remake of the Will Smith situation made by that guy called Darman, who has something like 1.5 million subs on YouTube.
Exactly.
And makes spoof videos.
Exactly. And then you saw it being circulated on Twitter as look, they've spoofed an old movie. No, they didn't.
No, they did not.
That footage is like you say, it's spoof
Disingenuous.
footage
Mhm.
of the Will Smith Chris Rock situation.
Yeah, and then it was presented disingenuously by these people sitting at the side of the video going, yeah, like Ponzi's.
I just
Anyway.
can't.
Anyway.
All I'm saying is cycling back to what you were first talking about with Mark Zuckerberg. I know Mark Zuckerberg had some reservations, and that is true. Had some reservations about the treats. In fact, that is definitely true because he's on video with his reservations. Yeah. He's since dialed that back when they started getting that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pharmaceutical money.
Yeah, you promote this, Zuck.
Oh, look!
Make it rain!
Make it rain! The dollars! Here you go, Mark!
Yeah.
So yeah, don't believe everything you see on social media. Don't believe everything you hear on social media. And for God's sake, if you think something doesn't sound quite right, it probably isn't.
Indeed. Bradford.
Huh?
I feel that I'm partially responsible for this.
Go for it.
Well, Bradford, City of Culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have been bringing Bradford up quite a lot over the last couple of years as a city of culture.
Oh, it's certainly a city of culture, John.
So I feel that maybe some of my influences crept through, and Bradford is now genuinely the city of culture for next year. It's incredible, isn't it? I'm not quite sure which culture it's the city of, but it is the city of culture.
I mean, there was a protest outside of Cineworld in Bradford yesterday, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
So that is, and someone did post this, right? Because there's a certain religion doesn't really take well to things like pork, bacon, beer, freedom of speech, women's rights, don't like dogs, okay, and they said the question is, what the fuck are they coming to Britain for if they don't like all these things? Because they are our staples.
I mean, I'm very partial to. We had pork. We had pork at dinner today, John.
And bacon butty. Do you remember the guy that put bacon around the door handle of the mosque?
Didn't he end up actually jailed for that?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Now, that's ridiculous to get the jail for putting strips of bacon on a door handle.
Yeah. No, ridiculous is an understatement. It is.
But that's Scotland for you.
Yeah.
They lock up comedians, don't
they? They don't lock them up, not yet. But
they find them.
They certainly fine them £800, and then when said comedian refuses to pay, they garnish their fucking bank account.
Yeah, that's true. That guy that did the bacon thing did die in prison, didn't he?
He may well have, yeah.
Yeah, he either died or he was killed.
Well, if he was killed, they would have probably covered that up.
Yeah, well,
I don't mean to sound conspiratorial there, but if you've if you've knowingly jailed somebody because their actions may or may not have offended a certain demographic, and then members of that certain demographic may have then aided in the death of that person, shall we say, you're not going to want to then come out and tell the truth about that, are you, John?
Well, you probably aren't. You probably want to keep it under the carpet, don't you?
Yeah.
Just lift the rug and sweep this under it.
Just park that right under there. We'll put it down. We'll lift it up in 30 years when nothing can be done about it.
So on that kind of vein, right? There's the next thing on the list. Is it falling into the way that these people are now starting to think that they're making excuses for, or they're making choices in their daily life that actually tend to shall we say what would you call it when you placate certain religions? So the next one is Louise Perry, who I'm not quite sure who she is. I can't remember. She's semi-famous. It says women should only get drunk with other women.
Why?
Well, that's why I'm asking about the whole. Are they starting to think that women shouldn't really hang about with men unless that's their chaperoned or with their husband? Well, should women only get drunk with other women so as they can have pillow fights? Because that's what women do when they get drunk together, don't they? They always have sleepovers and pillow fights.
Yeah, sleepovers, pillow fights, powder their noses together, John. Well, okay. So there is this permeating narrative, and it is a narrative. It's not necessarily the truth. It's not the overall truth, anyway. The narrative is that women in the United Kingdom are not safe going out at night because men, right? That's the narrative.
Yeah.
And okay, there are specific examples where women have not been safe because a man did something to them.
But that's not new. That's always happened.
Yeah, that's not new. And as we know, if we're going to go down statistics, the more likely victim of a violent crime in the street is going to be a man. Yeah. Right? Granted, it's more than likely going to be a man that perpetrates that violent crime. Yeah. But it's more likely that a man will fall victim of a violent crime in the street than a woman.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know how to say this without sounding severely insensitive, but
well, I tell you what it is. I think personally that the perception of crime has got to the stage that it vastly outranks the actual commission of crime.
Oh, absolutely, and that's absolutely to do with social media more than anything else, right?
Because I think in the old and like the 50s, 60s, 70s, crime was actually higher than it is just now. It's just the perception was lower because you didn't hear about absolutely everything that occurred.
No, of course you didn't. But like I said, men are more likely, yes, to perpetrate a violent crime in the street, but they're also more likely to be the victim of a violent crime.
And are we allowed to say that they're more, especially in England, they're more likely to be a young black man?
Well, statistically, that is true. That's absolutely true. Now, I wouldn't want to go into why. I couldn't tell you why, but statistically, that's absolutely correct. That's our own government's, statistic. Now, that's simply pointing out a fact. That is simply pointing out a fact. But there, like I say, there is this overarching narrative in the mainstream that says that women are not safe. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, going back to what I was going to say, it almost feels like it's because there has been such a PR machine in place to permeate that narrative. Now, when I've seen women in violent altercations in the streets, it's usually with other women. I'm not going to lie. I've seen that far more often than I have seen man and a woman in the street having a physical fight.
Yeah.
But the sheer reality of the situation is that I almost feel like women feel like they are more unsafe because they are told constantly that they are.
I think they do feel that. I think that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. The perception of crime is being driven up
Yeah.
when the actuality doesn't bear that out.
I mean, I know far more men, for example, that would step in if they saw a woman in trouble. I mean, personally, one of them, hobbling, being the optimum thing here. But there isn't a man around every corner out to get the woman in the street.
No, there isn't.
There are bad men who do bad things. Absolutely, there are. There are bad women who do bad things. There are bad people that do bad things.
There are good men who are driven to do bad things.
Yeah, and there are good men who do good things. And there are good women who do good things. But this, even this sort of rhetoric, right? Women should only drink together.
It puts the seed in there, doesn't it?
It's telling women that they're not safe. It's telling women that they should be afraid of something. They should be fearful of something. And whilst, yes, I would absolutely say to people, men and women, keep your wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe don't get too drunk, and that's to men and women, right? Because people that get too drunk can end up in situations that are awful. And that means you could do awful things, or you could fall foul of awful things, right? But ultimately, it's this perception, like you say. Women are being told relentlessly that they are victims, that they can't engage in society on the same level as men. And on certain things, that's absolutely true. Women and men are different, right? Women and men are different. They're not able to do certain things, same things, whatever. But to tell women that they are constantly unsafe, you have to wonder why. Now, like I said, I'm not taking away from the women who have fallen victim to horrible, horrible things. But that's not going to be every woman. And we shouldn't be telling every woman that is going to be her. And that's what this PR machine has done.
Well, I think what's happening is that there's the influence of a certain group is far beyond what they represent in society at the moment. So their influence is actually being held more than it should be. And it's like everything, when you speak to people, there was a survey done recently, and they were trying to work out what people thought the percentages were in England, right?
Right.
And people were saying things like, it's 30% black people, it's 15% Muslims, it's 15% Indians or whatever. And when you actually look at the figures, it's like, I think it's 4% black, 3% Muslim, and 1.5%, Chinese or something.
Yeah.
So the figures.
What you're trying to say is certain demographics are well overrepresented in crime.
Yes, well, they are, and their influence in the media is overrepresented as well.
Absolutely, that is true. I mean, that's what the whole box ticking angle of things is, isn't it? We need to tick this box. We need this many black people, this many gay people, or we need people of this faith.
That was that LGBTQ whatever, right? 1.5% of the population. People think it's about 15%. So the perception is way off.
Yeah, it may be higher than 1.5. I mean,
not according to the studies, it's not.
but that's the figure that I couldn't put my name to because I haven't seen it. But
you don't have to.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to interject. Vaughan here, a male in the chat, has said, just so everyone here can be a witness, his partner Shalini is abusing him. He's going to do her for $15 million.
Well, we can't really be a witness because all we've got is a chat room.
Yeah, all we've got is your say, my friend.
It's hearsay.
It is hearsay. Objections leading.
Object sustain.
Yep. But I don't know. It's a tough one because going back to what you're actually talking about, I think women should be able to make whatever fucking choices they like, to be honest.
Yeah, they should, and people in the media shouldn't be
Telling
shouldn't
them
be-
they're going to be a victim.
exactly. They shouldn't be doing that. It's poor. It's very poor.
Now, some women will be victims, and that is an unfortunate reality.
Mhm.
And also, so will some men.
Yeah, definitely.
But it seems like they're trying their best to separate the genders. It's weird. It's like this segregationist.
Well, is it weird? Because it does appear that there's an orchestrated, there seems to be an orchestrated plan for the dissolution of society and civilization as we know it.
Well, Western civilization is on the brink of collapse. It is.
Yeah,
it absolutely is.
That is. And nobody seems to be doing anything to try and avoid it.
We are.
Yeah, I know we might be.
We are.
We are but little voices in the wilderness.
So, with us being such little voices in the wilderness, could we ask you a little favour at this time? And it's not for money. That will be John asking you for money later. But what I would like people to do is, if you are watching this on YouTube or Twitch or brand YouTube even, could you just share it? Share it to your social media. Share the show out. Bring people in. Have people come listen to what these two idiots actually have to say, because maybe they might enjoy it. You know?
Share the love.
Yeah, share the love indeed. And love is what it is. Anyway, let's move on to your next list item, John.
So I was looking at the ONS graphs for England and Wales.
Okay.
As I do, when
ONS graphs as it pertains to what?
As it pertains to all cause mortality.
Okay.
Right. So all cause. No, nothing fishy here, right? And I was looking at the peaks from like 2017, 18, 19, 20, 22, and they're all labeled nicely, flu, COVID. And then the peaks in 21 and 22 aren't labeled because they don't come at the right time.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. I thought, that's weird. Why is the graph labeled like that for the last two peaks?
Interesting indeed.
Yes. It coincides with something else, but not necessarily a seasonal respiratory virus.
And we will speculate no further.
Indeed.
Just something that might be worth more investigation.
Correlation does not prove causation, but
you know what it is.
Investigation. You know what it is.
But we possibly couldn't speculate. But you know, and you know that we know that you know, and I know that John knows.
Right. I do know. And I tell you what else I know.
What else do you know, John?
I know things. And I talk about them. One of the things I want to talk about is I don't know. Do I call him? Who do I call him now? Andrew Windsor, or is he back to Andrew Saxe Coburg Gotha, or do we still call him Prince Andrew?
What, the sweat machine?
Is he the Duke? What is he the Duke of?
He's the Duke of I
Cornwall.
Don't Give a Fuck.
No. Who's the Duke of Cornwall?
I don't know and I don't care.
The Duke of Cornwall, not. What's his name? The tall, bald one. William.
I don't care.
Right. So here's the question, and I've started it. So this is my question. And I did ask you this the other day, and I thought I'm going to throw this question out there. Is he a nonce?
It's a very, very interesting question. It's a very nuanced question.
Yes.
Because whilst he certainly clearly likes them young, the law kind of states that he's a nonce in one country but not in another.
Yeah. And you brought up an interesting point. If you got married in England,
yeah, and
then went to New York,
yeah,
you wouldn't be able to have sex with your wife.
Well, this is it, because in England, in England and Wales, the age of consent for marriage with parental consent is 16. Right, so you can get married at age 16 with parental consent in England,
and without parental consent in Scotland.
So if you were to then two 16-year-olds go on your honeymoon to several states in America, It mostly fall on the man, but if you were to then have sex with your wife, you would be breaking the law, which is
and in certain states of America, whether she was your wife or not, you would also be breaking the law if one, she performed fellatio,
yes,
or two, you had anal sex.
yes, that is true, but this is right. So he certainly likes them young. I will say that.
Yeah.
But cheating bastard, certainly.
See, this is the problem, though. It's a very nuanced point, because if I lived in Saudi Arabia,
Mm-hmm.
I got married to a 9-year-old,
Yes.
just like the Prophet did. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And then I came back to England,
Yes.
I'd be a nonce. In
Yes.
England. So, but the thing that gets me is English law says they treat people who perform sexual crimes abroad as if they'd performed them in the. So if you break a country's crime law, right,
Mm-hmm.
you get treated in England as if you've broken the law in England, right?
Yeah.
So if you have sex with someone under 21, say in New York,
Mm-hmm.
they would still recognise that was you a nonce in England, right? Okay. So what about all these people? What about all these people that come over from stands and end up with very young wives?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But creepy bastard. I mean, people can call him a nonce if they want, because in one country it's certainly true.
So that's. I mean, it's common knowledge that he's
He's baiting you, John.
no, well, he might be, but it's common knowledge that his favorite wife was 9.
Yes. We know that.
Not his only wife, his favorite wife.
Yes, we know that, John.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I believe her name was Aisha. There we go. There we go.
Anyway.
Moving on.
Yeah, let's move on before we get a fatwa.
Moving on.
Right, where are we?
Yeah, where are we, John?
Yeah, where are we? The last. Right, I've got an item on the list. What is it?
You tell me.
Well, so I'm not keen on this thing about picking the state in which you go to trial in to favour your chances.
What Johnny Depp and Amber Heard did?
Yeah. Well, what's all that about? Why can they do that?
Well, the reason he did that is because it was an op-ed posted in the Washington Post, I believe.
Okay.
And that is where it's headquartered.
In Wisconsin?
No, they didn't go.
Sorry, Virginia.
Yes.
Virginia. Right. Okay. So, well, okay, that's fair, right?
Yes.
I was just wondering if this happens quite a lot with people picking states to favour their chances.
It could be, but let's face it. For a public figure, right? For a public figure in the United States to meet the burden of proof for defamation in a court of law is virtually impossible.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he's managed to do it, doesn't matter what state he's in, the fact that he's managed to do it is very, very telling indeed. And
yes, indeed does.
the only reason that she got thrown a bone was because the statement that she got thrown a bone on that Adam Waldman, not even Johnny Depp, made. So Adam Waldman made a statement was so specific that there was no way to know whether or not it was true.
Yeah.
The statement was so they called the police. The police came, saw no marks, no roughed up apartment. The police went away. So she called her friends, got her friends there. They roughed up the apartment, threw some wine around, and then called the police again.
Threw some wife around.
I mean, Johnny Depp didn't throw some wife around, did he?
No, that's a bit of a Freudian slip there, my old.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Anyway,
RCW says the Depp turd trial brought my neighbours together.
Yeah. really.
I think it brought the fucking entire social media planet together, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was united in hashtag Amber Heard is an abuser. But there is a small fringe minority of people that still support her, and in fact, the Washington Post are one of them. Taylor Lorenz of the Washington Post is going after any social media creator who supported Johnny Depp and trying to destroy them. They will not let it drop.
So this is the left in a nutshell, though.
Yeah, but this is Taylor Lorenz in a nutshell. This is the woman that doxed libs of TikTok.
Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyway, let's go on. Moving on. The pandemic treaty. Hey, that's
what pandemic treaty, John?
That's exactly what I've got written down.
What pandemic treaty?
Yeah, because 47 African states said, we don't really trust Bill Gates. We're not voting for this.
Well, this is it, and because what people don't seem to understand is you can say, oh, Bill Gates conspiracy, whatever, but the World Health Organization is practically owned by Bill Gates. He's the single biggest donor to it. He
was the biggest when Donald pulled the states out.
Yeah,
briefly. So right, it wasn't just Africa though. All the BRICS countries voted against it.
I mean, I don't know how anybody was voting for it when it wasn't even written.
Yeah, I know, but there was obviously a vote. It must have been a vote in principle, you know.
Yeah.
But Brazil went as far as to say we will pull out of WHO completely if this goes through. Yeah.
Good. Because we shouldn't be ceding any kind of sovereignty of any kind to an unelected body like the World Health Organization. Now, if it were simply a treaty, an agreement that would allow oversight to find out which lab it leaked from, maybe I would be on board with that, and I said that before. But it's not, is it? These, despite the fact it wasn't written, it was suggested that they would like to be in control of any country's responses to any pathogen, so that they could essentially step in and say, "You're locking down." And if any country wanted to give over to that, more fool them. More fool them.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
Come on, John.
Flipping hell, I've just lost my train completely.
That's
off the tracks.
That's the second day of hanging for you, John.
Yeah, that's what it is. So that was Gates.
Come on.
Bolsonaro.
You can do it. It's all good. Right, I've put myself on big screen whilst you collect yourself. Come on. Gather yourself together, John. It's all good. Are you with us? Nope. Look, you can see he's not with us.
Oh, got it. I've lost it.
He's lost it.
My train of thought.
That's right. We're trying to blame the alcohol, but really,
no, it's just age, mate.
It's senility. Yeah, he's going senile.
I think it's age.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support us on Patreon, we will use the funds towards getting John a nice rest home.
no, but Dad's a lad.
Nice little rest home for you, John. How's that sound?
Yeah, you can always support us on patreon.com/Chasing Dissent.
Or subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent. RCW says, I missed you guys. Where have you been? We have been here every Wednesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. and every Thursday at 8 p.m.
How can you miss?
We have not gone anywhere. But this is now John's channel. This is John's channel.
Yeah, but it's been my channel for nearly a year now.
Yeah, but, a lot of people didn't know that we'd moved over to this newer channel.
Okay.
Out of
that's
necessity.
What I was going to say. Right, I'm back on track.
Oh, fuck me.
I'm back on track. It's come back to me.
He's back.
So this afternoon, right?
Yeah.
In relation to the pandemic treaty, I listened to James Corbett of the CorbettReport.com.
Okay.
Which you can listen to on Rumble, right?
Yes.
And I listened to the episode. I've read this book, so you don't have to, right?
Okay.
But
sounds informative, John.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. He read Bill Gates's How to Avoid a Pandemic book.
Ooh.
And he said it's possibly, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, but the gist is accurate. Okay, he says it's possibly one of the biggest and worst books that he's ever read. It has no scientific merit in it whatsoever. It has no references to anything that he quotes.
Mm-hmm.
He says it is possibly one of the most stupid premises that he's ever seen being set up.
Well, you've got to remember here, ladies and gentlemen, that William Gates of the William Gates Foundation is neither a doctor or a scientist. And
No,
John,
he's not.
whilst we are neither doctors or scientists, neither is he. And you should not take medical advice from us, just like you shouldn't take it from him.
I think both of us have got more qualifications than Bill Gates.
I think we actually do, between the two of us, yeah. And
not even between the two of us. I think individually we are better qualified than Bill Gates.
That could well be true.
As long as you take away his honorary doctorates, which really don't fucking count.
Well, no, an honorary doctorate is just a university going, we're going to give you a certificate, mate.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
And you're going to give us some fucking money.
You're going to give us a lot of this. Bill, make it rain, Bill. We'll give you a certificate. We'll give you a little hat and a little cloak, and we'll let you give a speech.
Oh, I should have brought this up when I was talking about Andrew, actually, this next item on the list.
Oh, go on then.
So, well, the tagline I've got is "You shag one choir boy," right? So apparently the Archbishop of Canterbury has asked us to ease back on Andrew. Or was it the Bishop? It's one of the bishops anyway, right?
Yes.
Asked us to ease back on Andrew. Why? Did Andrew ease back on what was on there? So he thinks we're being hard on him.
Andrew was certainly being hard on him. Oh, Andrew! Remember, John, he was at Pizza Express in Woking and he couldn't sweat. Pizza Express in Woking and he couldn't sweat. I remember that night, actually. I remember that date all those years ago because I was at Pizza Express in Woking.
Who's Welby? What's Welby? Is he the Bishop of London?
He's the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, yeah.
Oh, it was him, right. So I was right the first time. So yeah, he's asked us to ease back on him. And is that because he's maybe eased back on a couple of his flock?
Well, I couldn't tell you, but I personally think he's maybe been asked to say
it. By Mummy.
Yeah, maybe. Remember, Mummy is responsible for a $12 million settlement, so the dirty laundry could never be aired in a court of law.
Yeah. That's just,
so.
That's.
And whilst the settlement does not affirm guilt.
No, but it's 12 million quid of our money.
Yeah, it's our money. Yeah. But then again, that's a small drop in the bucket compared to what they've just fucking spent on the last 4 days, John.
They've certainly spunked it up the wall, haven't they?
I mean, did you see Boris Johnson knocking back at the G&T's on our money there?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
And the living statues.
Yeah. And they were, yeah, I felt so sorry for those guys because they were old. They were old. Yeah, they were. And their job was to literally stand there in heavy ass armor, holding spears. And I don't know. I just felt bad for them, John. I just felt bad for them.
Yeah. Right. So, moving on. The NHS.
What's the nurse done now?
So the NHS is advising people to talk about front holes and back holes instead of vaginas and anuses. Are we three? What the fuck is going on with these people? Do you have a problem with your front hole? You're going to have to extract this book from it in a minute if you don't shut the fuck up. Literally, what goes through these people's heads?
What are they also saying? Like, if you're a guy, go to the doctor and say, Got a little bit of a problem with my wee wee.
It's my winky, doctor.
It's my
It's gone green.
It's my pee pee. Yeah, but this is the same NHS that tried to use the term. What term did they want to try and use? Birthing person instead of woman
Instead of
or
mother.
mother. Yeah, birthing person. I mean, do you know they are paying people upwards of £100,000 a year, chest feeding, like Shalini says in the chat.
Yeah.
But they are paying people upwards of £100,000 a year of our money to come up with this shit.
I know.
I mean, you go and look on any NHS sort of job advertisement. More often than not, you will see hiring for a diversity and inclusion manager.
Well, I tell you what, you do see. You still see them hiring for
Treatment
COVID,
passes.
COVID pass coordinators and things.
And they're calling those positions permanent. Funny that.
Yeah.
It's real funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting that. Very interesting.
And it's actually advertised as a COVID pass position.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Why would you need a COVID pass when the epidemic's finished?
Well, I find it very interesting that they're calling these positions permanent. As if
it's endemic now, so there's no need to have a pass for it.
Well, have you not just seen in Germany they are threatening to bring back
yeah.
Is it on the list?
No, but I've seen it. Yeah.
So they've just written into legislation in Germany that whenever they feel like it, they can ban the untreated from society again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's now written into legislation.
Germany's lost.
I think many countries are lost, and our country are trying to do this still by stealth. They are trying to do this by stealth. Because if they weren't, you wouldn't have fucking permanent job positions being advertised to run the pass.
Exactly.
Oh, beggars fucking belief, doesn't it? It really does. They think we're stupid. They think we're stupid.
I know. And then they come out with, what the fuck is Boris going on about? What was this imperial measures thing?
Oh, they're bringing back pounds and ounces, or is it kilo? I don't know.
No, they're meant to be going back to imperial, so that'll be inches and miles, and well, we use miles anyway, but inches and yards and pounds and ounces.
Yeah.
Is it imperial or imperialism?
Either way, I simply don't care, and I don't know why anybody does care, because we use both anyway.
This is gonna fuck up a whole generation of kids that have no idea how many ounces are in a pound and how many pounds are in a stone.
Well, I've only ever weighed myself in stones and pounds.
Yeah, that's good.
But like I say, we use both anyway. Mr. Jungle Griffin says, "Can we have petrol prices in gallons again?" I'd rather not, because
oh fucking hell, that would be frightening.
That would be frightening, yeah. I mean, £1.70 a litre for unleaded here at the moment. Yeah. I thought we were saving money at the pump, Rishi. Oh, I've saved you 5p a litre. No, you fucking didn't. No, you didn't. It's gone up 25p since you saved us 5p, Rishi.
Yeah, that made no difference whatsoever.
None. It made no difference. And still, I believe the price of crude oil is collapsing.
Yeah. I mean, it's well down.
Yeah, it's profiteering.
Yeah, of course it is.
Profiteering, blame Russia. What's next on the list, John?
Right, next on the list. Next on the list is... Right, next on the list is... Amazon.
Oh. What have they done?
So what month is this?
It's June.
Right. And what happens in June now? And I always thought it used to be a day, but it appears to be a month now.
Is this Pride Month, John?
Yeah, this is Pride Month. Okay?
Yeah.
So there are protesters having a die-in in Amazon's headquarters in London.
A what?
A die-in.
What the fuck is a die-in?
Well, they appear to be lying on the ground with covers over them as if they're dead.
Why?
I, I don't actually know. It's one of these things that it caught my attention and I thought, this is just fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But why do people do things like this? What can they, I mean, what are they protesting? Not enough gay stuff on Amazon?
I have no idea. So this is some kind of pride protest, is it?
Yeah. Because they're doing it all through Pride Month. They're going to try and have a die-in.
Through Pride Month?
Yeah.
At Amazon. Now,
So,
what are they trying to do? Are they trying to ask for the alphabet people to get higher wages than the rest? What are they doing here?
I need to actually, you've caught me on the hop here because I've only read half the story, haven't I?
Then why have you put it on the fucking list?
I don't, well, because I was probably drunk because I might have done that on yesterday.
But no, protest for fairer wages for all because Amazon pay people fuck all, right? Amazon don't pay well. That's a fact. But to be protesting through Pride Month, I don't quite understand. Unless they want the older... this is just me spitballing here, but maybe they're like, the Amazon Prime streaming service does not make enough alphabet people content. I don't know. You're gonna have to fill us in, John.
Oh, I don't know. People are apparently dying on Amazon because they won't let them go home.
Because what?
People are dying on Amazon because they won't let them go home.
Move on. Just move on. Next list item, John. Sick of talking about Amazon now.
Well, let's talk about the bastard.
The bastard son of Elton John, who has been all over the TV the last few days, John.
Well, yes, she has been all over the TV. Now, what did she have last week?
Well, she had COVID last week.
Yes, allegedly she tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
And she couldn't go out. She had to self-isolate.
Yeah.
And now she has appeared rather fresh face.
Rather fresh face, mingling with members of the royal family.
Right. So, if she wishes to go and get an eye lift, right? I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is her fucking faking a positive COVID test
for the recovery.
Recovers from it, yeah. Because that is malfeasance in a public office, in my book.
Well, you are speculating, but
indeed I am. But
she certainly looks a few years younger, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's either taken enough Botox to fucking kill the population of Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
Or she's had a nip and tuck done on the old eyes.
Do you think that's why she was in America, John?
Yeah, well, there's a possibility, yeah. I mean, let's face it, she had eyes like Doug's boys, as they say up here. And now she's looking like a fresh-faced Ben. Well, she doesn't look like you, but you know, you don't have saggy eyes, mate.
Not yet, but many more episodes of this, the stress is just going to make them droop.
Especially when I keep forgetting my lines.
This is it. I mean, you haven't slept, so I'll let you go today. But yeah, Nicola Sturgeon. But remember, this is the woman.
Yeah, and then I just said she's been peeing with royalty all through the weekend.
The woman who wants independence.
Yeah, yeah.
The woman who's desperate for independence but wants a photo op with Charlie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I want myself some independence from England. Oh, well, I can go and see the royal family and I can get a free gig or two out of it. Oh, yeah. Brilliant. Oh, aye.
What she wants.
Well, she got invited to all of the events, didn't she? We if you watched the show that me and Adam did last night, the Late Night Laugh show, we were looking at her going, there she is. She was
all sitting on her own.
She was in the royal box, John.
Yeah, well there you go.
Oh yeah, she's in the royal box. Of course she was, because Nicola Sturgeon is the only thing Nicola Sturgeon really cares about is Nicola Sturgeon.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's the same with all politicians. She's not unique. They all care about themselves and what they can get. She don't give two shiny shites about independence. She cares about staying in power. That's all.
Yep. I've only got 2 items left.
That's fine. We're over an hour into the show. You're doing well.
Okay. Georgia.
As in the state of Georgia, or some woman called Georgia?
No, the state of Georgia.
Yes.
The one in America. The US state of Georgia. Right?
Yes.
And it's kind of midterm election stuff going through.
Right.
You know, the House, Congress type thing.
Yeah.
And there seemed to be a bit of an anomaly with the voting.
Colour me shocked.
In that, the third place candidate had several locations where they got 0 votes.
Okay.
So they tried to rerun the votes through the machines, which didn't really work very well, right? So they did a hand count.
Okay.
And the person who came first then became third. And the person who was third was first.
Oh.
So those machines are fucking useless. And their name is Dominion.
Yeah, I don't think that we should be running any election tallying through machines. I don't. I think they should be all election counts should be done by hand under strictly controlled conditions.
Yeah, they should.
And
they shouldn't be paused in the middle of the night.
They shouldn't be paused in the middle of the night, and then when you come back, miraculously, there are 10,000 more ballots just came in the back door.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely shouldn't happen.
That should not happen.
No, the only way a vote should be counted is by hand under strictly, tightly controlled conditions where watchers from all parties involved in the count can be there to make sure that everything is being run tickety-boo and above board. Yeah. Also, there should always be a chain of custody for the vote boxes. Some of the ways that elections are being counted in America are interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Yes, I think indeed they are.
Interesting.
So there you go. That's so that's good. So now the runoff vote will be against what was the former third person against the one that was second. The one that was second stayed second, but the other two switched.
Ooh. Well, that's interesting and something we should keep an eye on, John.
Indeed, we will.
Indeed, we will.
So, Mr. Trudeau, as you know, has frozen sales of is going to freeze sales of handguns.
Captain Blackface.
Yes, he's going to freeze sales of handguns in Canada, so you can't buy, sell, transfer, or do anything with them. If you've got it, you can keep it, right? But other than that, you can't do anything else.
Yeah.
So that has not yet been quite implemented.
No.
And sales have gone through the fucking roof.
That doesn't shock me in any way, shape, or form.
There was a gun owner ongoing, not a gun owner, sorry, a gun store owner going, I can't keep up with demand. Shields and Smith and Wesson have gone up.
But what on earth did people think was going to happen?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
What on earth did people think was going to happen? They're coming for their guns, and so in this small window, they're going to be like, I'm going to give me some more guns, eh?
So, all these mass shootings, and we've had a couple of extra mass shootings in the States now because you always get a couple after. I
wasn't even aware.
Oh, yeah, there's been a couple. I can't remember exactly where it was, but they haven't been as dramatic, obviously, but they try and keep these things going. There was even one in a school, but it was only like a couple of people. But all the mass shootings seem to involve long-barreled firearms, i.e.,
yes.
So why ban handguns?
Why did Canada even step into this debate at all when it didn't happen there?
And Canada's gun crime is almost non-existent compared to
Like
America.
I said before, I remember watching a documentary in the early 2000s where people were talking about Canada and saying they felt so safe they could leave their doors unlocked.
Yeah, yeah.
And how often, like you say, do you hear of a mass shooting in Canada?
No, you don't. You don't.
I mean, RCW here says crickets on the fentanyl overdoses. And I think,
Oh yeah. I mean, fentanyl kills more people than guns in Canada. That's definite.
well, and in America, probably.
Yeah. Well, probably. Yeah. America. I remember American gun crime was quite incredible. But you see, the thing is, what you've got in America, you've got mega cities with big drug problems.
Yeah.
And a lot of these gun crime murders are drug, drug cartels fighting against themselves.
Absolutely. And also, another thing that people don't seem to understand is most gun crime in America is committed with unregistered, unlicensed firearms.
Yep.
So if you then go to move to ban legal firearms, it's not going to change. Because it's done with unregistered, unlicensed firearms. And do you really think somebody who is already obtaining a gun illegally is then going to go, oh shit, I can't get a gun legally now?
Like I saw a cartoon the other day, and the guy's like, yo, you coming on the drive-by tonight? And the other guy's going, no, I'm waiting for my license coming through. I'm waiting for my gun license coming through. Yeah, really is.
It's such a tough debate, though, isn't it? Because I am a firm believer in 2A. I think Second Amendment is necessary, and I think that them
it's only a tough debate when you allow emotion into it.
Well, absolutely. And obviously with the school situation in Texas, emotion is going to come into it. And with certain other mass shooting situations, emotion is always going to come into it. But the
thing is, the Second Amendment's there for one thing and one thing only.
To protect the First Amendment.
It's there to prevent tyranny.
Yeah.
Right? And tyranny only ever has one face, right? And that face is oppression, restriction, authoritarianism.
Yep.
Right? That is the only faces you get of tyranny.
Yes.
And that's why the Second Amendment's there.
Absolutely. They say the second protects the first, right? The First Amendment being the enshrined 5 freedoms. And
although they seem to be under question as well now, don't they?
Well, once again, that's a tough one because you have the social media giants who don't believe in the 5 freedoms. They don't.
Yeah.
And you've got once again, we'll go back to Project Veritas. They did an exposed Twitter just a couple of weeks ago. And on that, the Twitter employee clearly says, we are commies, we are communists, and the message, the communist agenda is what comes before profit. And that's sort of a senior manager within a publicly traded for-profit company.
Senior engineer.
Well, yeah, senior engineer, my apologies. But it's still a publicly traded for-profit company. Now, if you've got the shareholders hearing that, that's not gonna bode well for them. But these social media giants, they do not believe in freedom of speech. They do not believe in freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom of the press.
No.
They do believe in freedom of the press if it's press that they like. If it's press like us, we've got such an uphill battle, it's unreal.
Yeah.
And that has been evident over and over and over and over again. But I don't know. The Second Amendment, I think, is very important. I think it is very, very important to be able to protect yourself from the tyranny of your own government. Because, ladies and gentlemen, your government can go too far. Your government can do far more than what they are mandated to do. And we are seeing it over and over and over again, especially here in the Western world. There are some places, Middle East, places like that, who know nothing but tyranny. Right? They know nothing but tyranny. China know nothing but tyranny. But we are seeing the encroachment of tyranny upon our Western liberal free populations. And to deny that is to deny reality. Look at the last 2 years. If I told you 3 years ago what they've been doing to us for the last 2 years could happen, you'd have all looked at me and called me crazy.
Yeah.
But it happened, and most people bowed down and, didn't even ask for lube. Didn't even ask to be wined and dined before getting fucked. But the Second Amendment in the United States, I believe, is the only thing standing between freedom and not. Oh, and Governor Ron DeSantis. That guy's based.
Oh.
Come on, John.
Sorry.
It's okay. You're obviously tired.
Yeah, I'm all right.
It's been a long day. Basically, this is a plea right now, live on air. Governor Ron, asylum, please.
Yeah.
Come on, Ron.
Yeah. Please.
Come on, Ron. I got a wife, I got kids, I got 4 cats, a dog, and a rabbit. Come on, take us. We do good for the economy of Florida. Asylum, please. Because he is one of the only leaders in this world truly standing for freedom. And you know, I saw people calling him a dictator.
How can he be a dictator?
Well,
he told people that there was no mandate.
I'll tell you how he can be a dictator, John. I can tell you how. And I know how. With a lot of retarded mental gymnastics.
Right, okay.
That's it. Because this man is not a dictator. This man continually legislates for freedom. He continually... It's over this whole Special Olympics thing. Did you see the Special Olympics thing?
No.
So the Special Olympics are in Florida this weekend. And had mandated that only disabled kids who were treated could take part.
Not Florida. The Special International Olympic Committee mandated that.
And yes, and so Governor Ron stepped in and said, we are gonna sue you. We are gonna sue. And now anyone can take part, John.
Yeah.
But Governor Ron, because what really brought this to Ron's attention was there was a family with a child who was medically exempt that was going to take part.
And took one, yeah.
He was forced to take it to compete and is now having constant convulsions and can't compete.
Yeah.
And therefore, Governor Ron stepped in and said, this isn't going to happen to any more children. But still, the kid had a genuine medical exemption anyway. And still, the Olympic Committee, the Special Olympic Committee said, nope, you do as you're told. You bow down and toe the line.
Yeah, it's
and
sick.
It is sick. It's beyond sick.
Medical coercion is not on. It really isn't.
No, and I kind of had this argument with somebody on Twitter yesterday, who said that he is just evil. Governor Ron is evil for forcing untreated kids to be around treated kids, because the treated kids could get sick, right?
This is. You just can't take it.
I can't take it. I can't take... But like I said, mental gymnastics apply when calling Governor Ron bad, evil, a dictator, whatever. It's just like the Don't Say Gay bill that didn't mention gay, right?
Yeah, I know,
that went global. You had Mark Hamill, Luke fucking Skywalker, tweeting gay at him. And this bill does not mention gay.
I know.
But, I mean, this guy, fucking Hamill... read scripts for a living. Read the fucking bill, Mark.
That's too much like work. Oh God. Oh
I think, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to wind this show out because
yeah, I think
Poor John is not with it this evening.
I'm not on my best game, am I?
No, but you will be on Wednesday, won't you, John?
Yeah, of course I will.
You'll
And
be back
Thursday.
and fighting fit on Wednesday. And John, I want you to put your best game head on for just a minute in order to sell us.
Should you find any value in the treatise that we give you of an evening or a morning or whenever you listen to these great and fantastic shows,
They're
then
brilliant.
then please feel free to support us on patreon.com/chasing Dissent or subscribestar.com/chasing Dissent from as little as £1 a month.
£1.
£1.
And we
We'd
really do
certainly
appreciate it.
more.
Oh
We'd
yeah,
certainly appreciate more, but only if you can afford it.
absolutely. And once again, the main thing we'd like you to do at this time is just share these shows out, right? Just click like if you're on YouTube or on brand YouTube, but share them out. Tell people when they are. Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 p.m. and Thursdays for the interview show After Dark at 8 p.m. And now's as good a time as any, because we're less than 2 weeks out to it, to announce a new monthly show on a Thursday night, John.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think we should tell them?
Or do we want to have some artwork for it before we announce, or should we just announce? Okay, we shall announce.
Go on, then. You're on big screen.
We
Spotlight's
shall
on you.
be starting a new show on the 16th of June with Ed the Techie.
Once a
It will be a monthly, and it's going to be called Down the Rabbit Hole.
Down the Rabbit Hole. So the concept is each month we will hyper focus on a specific conspiracy theory, look at the merits of that conspiracy theory, look at the detraction of that conspiracy theory, but hyper focus on it nonetheless. And Down the Rabbit Hole episode 1 starts with
9/11.
9/11. So join us. Was it the 16th of June?
16th of June, Thursday, 8 o'clock, 16th of June.
For episode 1 of Down the Rabbit Hole featuring Ed the Techie. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close out the show tonight because I feel like doing it. Because I don't do it. And it's 94 episodes in and I figure now is my time. So thank you, one and all, as he will say, for joining us on this, the 94th edition of Chasing Dissent Live. With myself, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and Ghislaine Maxwell's Merkin over there, and it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
Good night, everybody.